All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the M5 Framework March Mastermind session. If you haven't watched previous sessions, we had one in January, we had one in February. We're having one every month this year on topics that you guys want to learn about that are going to better help you in your health and wellness journey. And health and wellness just isn't fitness. It just isn't exercise. It just isn't nutrition. It is the whole person. And that is what we are almost kind of discussing this month. We're going to be discussing mindset, and we have our expert here to go over that. But before I turn it over to her, I got one more announcement. We did just announce our Spring Slim Down Challenge. It's a 3-week challenge, and it starts on Monday. There is limited space. We have 50 spots. It is a free challenge. We have, you're going to get access to the workout app, the coaching sessions. You'll have nutrition, all the fun stuff. If you need more details, don't hesitate to reach out, but there is limited space, and it's over half full. The last I checked, and that was this morning. But that is, and if you need to register, the link is in my bio. There we go. Or you can reach out to me and I'll send it to you directly. But that is all I have. I'm going to turn it over to Letitia. Take it away.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Letitia Bates, and I am super excited to be here this evening. I noticed we've got iPhone. So iPhone, if maybe you could put your name in the, rename yourself so we know who we're talking to. It looks like we have Ashley. And so tonight we are going to talk about a mindset, but what I want to make sure we do is have a really interactive session. So if you can put your cameras on, that would be fantastic. If not, I understand, and perhaps you can support us by putting your responses in the chat. The other thing you will need is pen and paper, because we're going to do some work tonight, and we're going to really make sure that this gets internalized and you leave with a sense of a tool, some tools, right? There'll be more than one, actually, that you'll be able to use. So I have a PowerPoint slide that I'm going to use, and we're going to go through that, but I want to keep it informal. So if you need to raise your physical hand or your digital hand in between time, please feel free to do that. So when we talk about mastering your mindset and what that actually looks like, we'll go through those, how to actually do that tonight. So again, I'm Letitia Bates. I live in the Shenandoah Valley in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And I am a native of Virginia. I originally from the eastern part of the state, and now I've moved to the western part of the state and have been here for 17 years. And since then, I left a corporate position and moved into the coaching space. And now I'm a coach, a speaker, and an author. So that's a little bit about me. And here's what we're going to cover tonight. We're going to cover what a visionary mindset is, what it looks like. We're going to talk about emotional stress and how that could be slowing us down. And then we're going to talk about having an empowering mindset. So you may or may not be familiar with this term visualization. When you think about visualization, it's thinking about, it's a mental picture. It's the formation of a mental image of something. And that's really, really important when you start thinking about what you want to accomplish. Now, what I know about you, anyone who is listening to this call on the replay or in real time, I know that you are the kind of person that I like to be associated with. Why? Because somewhere you made a decision that you are devoting yourself to continuous improvement. And what I know is that people that are devoted to self-improvement, when they become a better version of themselves, they become better friends, better coworkers, better sisters, ultimately better citizens of the world. And where that starts is an image that forms in your mind of something better or beyond where you are right now. And that's where the visualization comes in. It's that mental picture that you get, or that sense that there's something else. And then you begin to think about that and start that process of actualizing it. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Where I like to start is this process called the mustard test. So I'm going to stop my share for a moment. And we're going to do the mustard test. And so again, if you're not able to turn your cameras on, please feel free to unmute yourself when we get to this part in the exercise. So right now, I just want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in and gently blow it out. And with your eyes closed, I want you to think of mustard. Just whatever comes to mind. All right, when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So if you'll unmute and kind of just share what happened for you. So I'll start with you, Kelsey. What happened when we said mustard?
I envisioned a yellow bottle, kind of short and stout, kind of rounded on the end, and a red tip.
Okay, great. All right, let's hear from someone else.
Anybody
So
or everybody?
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Ashley.
Okay. I envisioned very similar to Kelsey, but I envisioned more of the French's bottle that's fully, I guess, curvy, a little more curvy than just round. Yeah, exactly. Full yellow label, yellow all the way through.
Awesome. Anyone else?
I envisioned a couple different things. First, the mustard, bold mustard, spicy mustard, yellow mustard, and then also from scripture.
And iPhone? Maybe iPhone can't talk. Okay, so thank you for those shares. So the interesting thing about it is that when I said mustard, I just said a word. And what your mind did was associated with whatever experience of mustard you've had. When I've done these before and I've brought the mustard test up, I can visually see people frowning because like some people like hate mustard. Okay, and I use this as an example because it's really, really powerful in terms of how your mind perceives information and association. Can we see my screen now again? All right. So when you're thinking about anything that there's an association with, you're using like, there are two different regions of your brain. So on the right side of your brain, it's where all the color is, it's where memories are, it's where events happens, it's where emotions happens. And on the left side of your brain, that's where all of your logic is and all of your linear thinking and your executive functioning happens on the left side. And when the two of those are together, we form beliefs. So what we want to be conscious of is that anytime we rehearse a thought that's created by events, it's fueled by emotions. So that person who had that negative reaction to mustard just didn't like the taste of mustard. So the thought of mustard alone transported her back to an event where she tasted it and didn't like it. And then she had a strong emotional reaction to that, right? So this is a simplification of what happens in our mind when we make any associations. We get the thought, and then the event, and then the emotion, and then we form a belief. Her belief was, I hate mustard, right? That's based on the experience that she had. I actually had that thought too. I used to hate mustard. And, you know, the smell of it, the taste of it, even the look of it just kind of brought up a visceral reaction. And one night I was at a friend of mine's house and her husband is a gourmet cook. And so we're eating this food and I'm like, oh my God, this is so delicious. And it was lamb chops. And I'm like, well, what's on here? And he was like, oh, so what do you think he brings? What do you think he brings to the table, right? It's like this Dijon mustard, and it's a part of the sauce. And suddenly in that moment, everything changed. So I don't actually go out and eat mustard anymore, but I no longer have that negative association. So the event that created the negative association through that thought shifted because I now have a counter event that has a pleasant emotion when I think about it. And we'll talk about why that's important in the work that you're doing to make mental and physical changes as we go along. So I like to think of it this way. You've got thoughts, right? Things that come into your mind, and emotion is evoked, and then it's going to impact what your actions are. So you're either going to be running away from what you actually want or toward what you actually want, depending on the emotion that you feel. In the prior case, I saw mustard, I'm running away. But once I was thinking about how this could benefit me, or how I could make this recipe, which I made several times, now I'm moving towards something. But the most important thing to know is that you have a choice. I like to think of it as changing the tea bag, right? So you can actually have an experience that shifts your mind, your thoughts, changes your emotions, and thus changes your actions. So let's talk about how vision plays into this. And there's a quote by Robert Fritz that says, "It's not what the vision is, it's what the vision does." And what does the vision do? The vision like the one you had when you started on your journey of transformation, the vision reveals what your thoughts are, it reveals what your emotions are, it reveals what your beliefs are. So you want to make some sort of change, you might get excited about that change, then you might start thinking, oh, I'm not sure how I can do it, or maybe I've tried to do it before. And then mixed beliefs about your ability to do it start to creep in. So what I want to do now is take a moment, I'm going to stop the share again, and I want you to close your eyes again and think about the vision that you're focused on, this journey that you're on, the reason that you're on this call. The transformation in your body, whatever you have in your mind that you are wanting to accomplish. And I want you to get a clear picture of what that will look like, feel like, and what your experience will be like as this unfolds for you. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I hope everybody has the pen and paper. So I want you to take a moment now. We're going to do, let me go back to my share screen. I want you to think about the emotions that showed up for you. So on the left side, on the left column, we have negative emotions that you may have felt. You know, maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're disappointed, maybe sometimes as you're on the journey, you feel defeated. And the first thing I want you to do is just write a list of any negative emotions that have shown up for you. So you might be excited, but like, I want just the negative ones on the left side. And this is not a complete list. So if there's something that's not on the list that has come up for you, feel free to write that down. So we have abandoned, avoidant, angry, anxious, betrayed, confused, defeated, disappointed, fearful, frustrated, guilty, hopeless, judged, overwhelmed, powerless, rejected, resentment, shame, vengeful, victimized, uncertain, or unworthy. And again, anything else that shows up for you, thinking about the vision. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to draw a line in the center, so like a separate column. And I want you to now look at the positive side of this slide and think about what positive emotions you feel. Obviously, you're here, so there's a part of you that wants the transformation that you're seeking. So there may be some excitement. So I've appreciated, accomplished, brave, calm, confident, creative, delightful, empowered, excited, fulfilled, grateful, hopeful, happy, joyous, loved, proud, peaceful, powerful, respected, rewarded, victorious, and worthy. And again, if there's a positive emotion that you're feeling about your vision that isn't listed here, feel free to write that down. All right, I'm going to stop the share. So who had some negative emotions? Anybody have
I
any?
had one.
You had one?
Yeah, I had
Okay.
one.
What was it?
It was the challenge, how challenging losing weight and building muscle can be.
Okay, great. Who else?
I'll jump in. Just like Ashley, I had challenged as one, judged and impatient.
Ooh, nice. Diane?
Probably on the negative side, I had frustrated and ashamed.
And Shane?
Yes.
Shane, okay. Perfect. All right, let's take a moment and flip the script. Ashley, what positive emotions did you have?
I had confident and strong.
Kelsey?
I promise I'm not copying Ashley. I had confident as well, powerful and respected.
Diane?
Sorry, it's taking me a second. I've been having trouble with my phone today. Strong, confident. Doesn't make sense with the same negative opposite ones, does it?
Well, here's the beauty of what we're doing and where we're going with this. So I'm going to go back to my screen share. The question is, what might be slowing you down from moving forward with the goal, with all the strength and the confidence? And I want you to just take a moment now with your pen, and I want you to just do a stream of consciousness. Whatever you think might be slowing you down. It doesn't have to make logical sense. Doesn't even have to make sense in your mind. Just a stream of consciousness about what you think it might be. And we'll just take a minute to do that. We'll take about 15 more seconds. And time. Okay, so I just want you to kind of hold that thought right now about whatever it is that you think that could be slowing you down. You have a sense of it. There is no judgment, no heat, no shame. It just is what it is based on what you're thinking about it right now. Okay. The answer in a nutshell is emotional stress. We're going to talk about how this actually works in your mind and body. And more importantly, we're going to get to what you can do about it. So I love the song by the Bee Gees, It's Just the Motion That's Taking Me Over. And remember when we think back to our chart, when we talked about how thoughts and emotions they create beliefs, and they're really, really powerful, right? Meaning we've got this vision, but we can have a negative emotion that is totally slowing us down and stopping us from moving powerfully forward in the way that we want. So when we think of the science of the stress response, when we have negative emotions, fear, worry, shame, it actually creates a chemical activation in our body. And one of those emotions, one of those chemicals that happens as a result of the stress response is cortisol. There are actually about 2,000 chemicals that get released when you're in any kind of stress response. But when you are fearful, sad, shame, angry, frustrated, those chemicals are coursing through your body. And one of them, just to keep this simple for you, okay, who am I kidding? For me, I just chose one because cortisol is a significant one. It's really the stuff that, strokes and heart attacks are made of. So when you've got too much of that running in your bloodstream, it's kind of like coffee. So coffee has a purpose, right? Maybe that caffeine hit for those who drink the coffee, but you're not supposed to have so much coffee that it floods your nervous system. And that's like cortisol. It's supposed to give you that hit when there's real danger to like run from a bear, but not constantly coursing through you. But anytime we are in the stress response, it consumes our energy, it causes mood swings, it narrows our thinking. So again, too much of it is not good, right? It's kind of bad for our health. The opposite side of that is the rest response. So when you're in a positive emotion, you're feeling peaceful, you're feeling joy, you're feeling confident, you're feeling strong. There's a chemical activation there too. And I liken this to serotonin. And serotonin, it's one of the positive chemicals, right? There are more of those as well when you're in the rest response. But in this state, you have increased productivity, it regulates your mood, and it improves your concentration. And like water, the more serotonin, the better, right? So we really can't get enough of the rest response and feeling positive, but the damage of the stress response can be a challenge. And so your question about what, it's kind of weird that I've got both things going on, and that's what causes the slowdown, because you've got the negative side that's kind of like slowing you down and making it harder. And then you've got the positive side, which is being activated through the vision. And it causes like sometimes the stop, sometimes the slow down, sometimes it feels like you're just being held back. And so what do you do about that? And how do you move to more of an empowering mindset? Like what can you do to actually take control? Changing the way you look at things. And Wayne Dyer has a quote. He's one of my favorite authors. And he says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And this is where I want to talk about tapping. So I'm going to stop my share here. Who has heard of tapping or EFT? All right, Kelsey, I see your hand. Has anybody else heard of tapping or EFT? You can unmute.
No.
No. Okay, great. You're in for a treat. So tapping is a scientifically proven technique that's used to relieve stress by tapping on acupuncture points. We use it to release the stress response and to activate the rest response. And there are certain points, most of them are on your face. We're actually going to do an exercise, which is cool. And I'll talk about where the points are. And this is how you start that process of emotional shifting so that you don't have like a split sense of your vision. You don't feel stressed out. You don't feel frustrated and angry while you're trying to feel excited. You shift your emotional state so that you can be more in alignment with the goal, with the vision. And you're going to get it anyway, right? If you're committed to it. But the question is, how are you going to get it? Like, what is the quality of your life going to be as you navigate the space, right? If you're going to do something for 3 months, do you have to hate it every morning? You know, or if you're going to do it anyway, why not enjoy it to the best of your ability? Make sense? Okay. So the way tapping works is we tap on acupuncture points. Most of them are on our face. We're going to do some exercises here. So the first point is right there at the edge of your eyebrow. So if you take your 2 fingers and just tap right there at the edge of your eyebrow. The second is right at the edge of your eye, so the side of your eye. The next one is under your eye in that hollow space. The next one is right there at your collarbone where a necklace would fall. And then the last one is, I'll say squeeze your wrist, and you'll just simply grab your wrist and then breathe in and out. All right, so we're going to do our first exercise. And the first thing I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath in and blow it out. And I want you to rate that breath on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 is the deepest breath you've ever taken, and 1, it's shallow, you're barely breathing. And just notice what your number is. So I was like at about a 6. So just notice wherever your number is. Because if I'm at a 6, in order to get full relaxation at a 10, I got to release 4, right? 4 stress units is what we call them. So if you were at a 5, you got to release 5. If you were at a 7, you got to release 3. Tracking with me? Okay. So now we're going to go through the tapping points, and I want you to just repeat after me. And we're just going to let whatever's stopping us go. All right. So I release and let go. I release and let go of this. For me, I'll say this 4. Whatever your number is that's stopping you from 10, let it go. Tap the side of your eye. I'm letting it go. Tap under your eye. Just letting go. Tap your collarbone. Letting go. Squeeze your wrist. Breathe in and out. Say peace. Now I want you to take another deep breath in and blow that out. And I want you to notice what's changed. Did your breath get deeper? Kelsey? It did? Okay. How about you, Ashley? All right, Diane?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it got deeper. All right. And Lisa, welcome. I'm not sure where you joined the party, but hopefully you were able to go through that. And if not, perhaps you can catch it on the replay. All right. So what did we just do? We literally used our hands to tap and shift out of the emotional stress, right? Pretty powerful that you can actually do that and shift into a rest response. So if you were at 6, like me, you may not have gotten to 10, but maybe you got to 7, or maybe you got to 8. And so what do you do if you didn't get all the way to 10? You do another round of tapping, and that's what we're going to do. So we'll tap between our eyes again. I release and let go of this remaining number, whatever your number is remaining. Tap the side of your eye. I'm letting it go. Tap under your eye, just letting go. Tap your collarbone. I'm letting it go. Squeeze your wrist, breathe in and out. Say peace. Take another deep breath in. Blow it out. And notice your breath got even deeper. Yes? So the more you are consciously and actively bringing about your rest response, it's collapsing the stress response. Everybody tracking with me? Okay. So that's nice, Letitia. It's even cute. But how does this relate to what's going on in my world? Okay, this is how. I want you to go back to your negative feelings. So for Ashley, it was challenging. The thought of losing weight felt challenging. Kelsey, you felt challenged, judged, and impatient. Diane, you felt frustrated and ashamed. Okay? So I want you to close your eyes now, and I want you to think about your negative feeling. Remember, you got this vision, but you're feeling the challenge. You're feeling the judgment. You're feeling the frustration. And I want you to take a moment and just scan your body and just notice where you might be feeling the frustration. Like notice where it's located. It could be in your back, it could be in your arms, it could be in your head, just wherever it is. And now I want you to notice how strong it is on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 is it's strong, 1 is it's weak. Notice its location. And open your eyes, and we're just going to tap. And repeat after me. I release and let this go. All this stress. Tap the side of your eye. The feeling of it being a challenge. Tap under your eye, the frustration. Any feelings of judgment. Tap under your eye, the impatience. Tap between your eyes, the shame. Helplessness. Tap the side of your eye. Hopelessness. Tap under your eye. Feelings of no control. Tap your collarbone, abandonment and betrayal. And anything else that's holding this up. I let it go. Squeeze your wrist, take a nice deep breath in, blow it out. Say peace. Good job. So now I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about that negative emotion that was there for you. And I want you to notice what's changed. We'll start with you, Kelsey.
It doesn't feel as strong. On the scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 4. It's probably closer to a 2 or 1.
Okay, so you felt that shift.
Mm-hmm.
Great work. Ashley.
It feels less daunting now, a little more achievable.
Awesome. Diane.
I would say it did go down, and yes, it seems possible.
Okay. All right, but I'm not satisfied. Why? Because it's not gone. All right, so we know what to do. Let's tap between our eyes. I release and let go. All of this, all that this means, all that it's meant, all that it's represented, I release and let it go. I am choosing to let it go. I release the pictures, any sounds, any sensations, any smells or tastes, and all the emotions that are associated with this that are not positive. I release and let them go. And as I let them go, my whole world changes. Squeeze your wrist, breathe in, blow it out. Say peace. Great job. All right, Kelsey, let's start with you. What changed?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling energized. I'm ready to go.
Okay, so I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to think back to that feeling of being judged. Just notice if there's anything left of this.
Did you want me to respond to that?
Yep,
No, I'm feeling good.
okay. Keep your eyes closed. Go back to that feeling of being impatient. Anything left of that?
Mm-mm.
How about being challenged?
It's a good challenge.
Okay, awesome sauce, great work. Ashley,
I'm agree with Kelsey. The challenge has changed from a negative connotation to accepting that it'll be hard, but it's something that I'm capable of doing.
okay, yeah, let's let that go too. Let's tap. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. I don't need that thought. I do not need that thought. I release and let go of the thoughts and the feelings that it's gonna be hard. The truth is, it's gonna be worth it. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be worth it. And I am choosing to appreciate the work I'm putting in because it's gonna be worth it. Squeeze your wrist, take a deep breath in, blow that out. Say peace. All right, Ashley.
Yeah, I'm feeling better. I think it's now more so I accept that it'll be a challenge, but it doesn't have to be hard.
Awesome, fantastic work. All right, Diane.
It is better and
Okay.
change the focus to what can be done.
Is there anything left of that feeling of being ashamed?
Probably, but not much.
Okay. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to notice wherever it's located in your body. And let's let go. Open your eyes and let's tap. I'm letting go of the shame. Every place in my body where it lives, I'm releasing it and letting it go. Wherever it came from, whatever it's meant, whatever it's represented, I'm totally letting go. It's time for a change, and I'm making the change right now. Squeeze your wrist, breathe in and out. Say peace. Great job. All right, Diane.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what's happening with the shame.
It's on its way out.
Okay, how much of it's left? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 is strong, 1 is weak.
1.
Okay, good. Let's tap. I'm letting go of all that's left of it and any and everything else that's connected to it. I'm clearing it at a cellular level. I am letting go. And as I let go, my whole world changes. Squeeze your wrist, breathe in and out. Say peace. All right, Diane.
It's gone.
It's gone. All right, awesome. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go back to that line. Remember I asked what might be slowing you down? I want you to look at what you wrote, and I want you to notice what's changed. You still feel the same way about what you wrote. Kelsey.
Can you clarify the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I asked that slide, like to do the stream of consciousness, so what do you think could be slowing you down? And you wrote something.
Mm-hmm.
As you reread what you wrote, how do you feel about that now? Does that still feel true to you?
It does.
Okay, so I want you to close your eyes and I want you to notice how true that still feels. 10, it's absolutely true. This is the reason. And 1, it's weak. Where are you?
2.
Okay, so let's tap. Whatever I'm telling myself, that's slowing me down, I'm letting it go. It's not enough to shift the emotions. I have to shift the thoughts. The emotions will shift, and I will quickly and easily take the actions I want to take. I'm changing my teeth. Squeeze your wrist, breathe in and out. Say peace. Good job. All right, so if you'll unmute. So think back now to what you've written and tell me what's different.
It doesn't feel so accurate.
So remember the T is the thoughts, right? So you know what you're thinking. The emotions are the feelings. You feel that sense in your body. And based on your thoughts and your emotions, you will take an action in one direction or another. If you hate mustard, you're running away from it. If you love mustard, you're running toward it. So if you have a vision and you've got a mixed bag like we've experienced, right? I've got some negative thoughts about it. I've got some positive thoughts about it. I'm moving forward, but I think something's slowing me down. What is it? I think it's this. So they're going to conflict and it's going to make it way harder than it needs to be. But if you can tune in to what you're saying to yourself, you don't need to judge yourself. You don't need to make yourself wrong. Just write down, this is what I think. Fine. And then check in with your feelings. How am I really feeling? I'm frustrated. I'm overwhelmed. Fine. Right? No judgment, no shame, no heat. Write that down. And once you have it written down, you know what's happening. And so if you're not taking the action in the direction that you want, you know it's the thoughts and the feelings. And you can tune in and use this tool to move through those in order to align your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Is that making sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the emotional shifting. And so then we now have a place where we can begin to speak those things that we want. I am a huge proponent of affirmations. They have changed my life. And so using affirmations, I am capable of transforming negative experiences into something positive. I'm worthy of respect and equality. Everything will work out for my highest good. I'm opening my heart and learning to trust again, right? So speaking positive words into your life and into your situation are really, it's really powerful. But I never employ an affirmation without doing the tapping first. Why? Because if you try to add the affirmation onto the mixed bag that you already have, half negative, half positive, you're not going to have the power. But if you shift out of that negative state, out of the stress state, and you bring your body into a rest state, then you're tapping into the positive things that you wrote, right? Like the confidence, the strength, the power. And that's not tempered by the negative stuff. It's all positive, all moving you in the right direction toward where you want to go. So we're going to actualize our vision. It's having that visual, which is mental. It's having the emotional side, which is the feeling. It is a verbal, which is the affirmation side. And then the last part that's really important, I mean, we're doing the work. All of us are doing some version of work on ourselves. I know that's true because you're here, right? Or you're listening to the replay. But the reality is when you get ready to make big changes, it's also very, very helpful if you have the support. And that's where coaching comes in. So if you will use this, this sort of 4-part framework, where am I mentally, visually, what am I seeing in my mind, emotionally, what am I saying, and verbally, what am I affirming? And then you have a support system through a coaching experience that helps you actualize your vision much quicker. So remember, it's your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. You get the power of choice, and you can change that tea bag anytime by honing in and tuning into the thoughts, the emotions, and then it will direct your actions. So before we wrap, I want to open it up for any questions you may have. Any questions that you have about what we went over tonight or anything that happened for you? Questions?
I'll start off if that's okay. I have a question about the tapping.
Yep.
You mentioned that they're mainly on the face, and we have the sternum here, and then the wrist. Are there other tapping locations as well, or is it just predominantly those that we did?
No, if you've ever done tapping before or ever heard of it, people use different points because it's really working with your meridian system, and they're literally points all over your body.
Okay.
So, you can't really get it wrong. I just use the prescribed way. I like to keep it simple. Mm-hmm. I like people to feel like they can do it and move through the tapping points. That's why I use the points that I use.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And how often do you suggest people do that? At least once a day, multiple times a day?
It's kind of like drinking water. You do it when you're thirsty. And if you find yourself with negative feelings while you're trying to get something important done, take a sip.
Love it. Love it. I'll be quiet for a little bit if anybody else has questions.
Yep. Anybody else have questions?
If we wanted to find the other locations or tapping points, would we just look up tapping locations or tapping points on the body to find what those are?
Yeah, actually, there is a slide that's here, and I showed it briefly. So what I'll do is I'm going to go back to that slide really quick, and I'll put it up on the screen for you to make it easy. At least I want to. But you can also go to tappingwithletitia.com, and it has the points. Yep, there it is. And there are different times where I use different tapping points. So I don't want to go into that because I'm not teaching a tapping class. But the ones that we just went through, pretty much, if you tune into what you're feeling and you use those points and what you're thinking, you can get pretty great results. Now, sometimes, when I'm working with clients, it may be more intense. The feelings might be associated to something really intense. And in those cases, that's when I recommend, having support. So if you know that what you're working on is tied to something deeper, you have a sense of that, then it may be worth having some support as you go through it. What other questions?
Not a question, but I want to thank you for sharing the tapping method. It's definitely nothing that I had seen before, and it was helpful in just a short period of time that we've been doing this. So thank you for sharing that, and it'll be something that I use whenever I need to drink some water.
I love it. Excellent. So here's what we've covered. We've talked about having a visionary mindset. So you get the vision. And when you get the vision, you get all excited about it, but there's a part of you that may feel negative about it. And the part of you that's feeling negative, well, that's emotional stress. And then we adopt an empowering mindset because we use a process called emotional shifting that takes us out of the stress and then into an empowering mindset, which moves us quicker toward our vision. And with that, I have a special gift for you. I am, like I said, I'm a huge proponent of affirmations, but I'm also a huge proponent of meditation. And so I've created a meditation. It's called the Harmonized Heart Meditation. You can go to harmonizedheart.com and you can listen to this. I recommend that you listen to it. You listen to it daily. I recommend a session of like 30 days when you're just listening and you use that repetition. And it's really helpful, and you just focusing in, there's a visioning part of it where you're really just focused on whatever the goal is, whatever that, vision is that you have for yourself. And when you do that in conjunction with the tools, it really just accelerates your process. So before we go, I would love to hear what you have found most valuable about our time together tonight. Who would like to start?
I found the tap very positive and useful.
Awesome. Thank you.
I like that the tapping is something you can do immediately if you run into that emotion or feeling.
Fantastic. Anyone else?
I'm a big supporter of the affirmations. And so when you mention that, I'm like, yes, I love affirmations, even though we didn't touch on them as much as we did the tapping, which is great as well. Yeah, awesome. Loved it.
Thank you. They just get more potent once you shift out of and you clear that up, and then it's like, hell yeah, I'm feeling strong. Of course I'm feeling positive. What? Right? Like it just it goes kind of over the top, which is great. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed being with you. You can go to harmonizedheart.com to get the meditation. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, Kelsey.
Awesome. We thank you for your time, Letitia. That was fantastic. Now, if somebody had more questions for you, or they're watching the replay and had questions, where can they find you? How can they reach you?
Yep. So you can go to atthewheelcoaching.com, and that's at the wheel like you're driving. That's my website. And I also offer a free 45-minute clarity session. So you can hop on and we can just talk and figure out what's happening with you. Because like I said, when you're making big changes, and these are big changes because there's a demand on it and it's a continuous thing. It's not a once and done. It's not like, you want to get your hair done, you go get your hair done and you're done. It's like this continuous thing. And so it oftentimes is the challenges may be rooted in something deeper. And so we can just find that out. So you can, get that free clarity session if you'd like to do that. And chat with Letitia.com will actually take you there too. And I'd love to hop on and see how I might be able to help you more.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise, sharing your knowledge. And I'll be sure, I'm going to check out the harmonizedheart.com. I'll be sure to share with anybody that has access to the replay as well. If anybody and everybody in the chat, or if you want to hop on real quick and just thank Letitia for her time, that'd be fantastic. Just a friendly reminder, we do one of these every single month. We have gotten the April one kind of lined up. I'm still finalizing the details there. And then we have the challenge coming up on Monday. But yeah, I see iPhone is hopping on. Anybody else that wants to hop on and say thanks, go ahead.
Thank you, Letitia.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you all for coming. You're free to hop off. And let me